What's going on, everybody? It's GameUnboxingReviews here today, and I'm kind of going to split this video into two parts, basically because the video ended up becoming way too long. So basically this first part is going to be about a lot of questions which Beenox answered on Facebook. So without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, so I thought we'd just dive right into the Facebook questions first. So basically, Beenox has been recently answering loads of questions on Facebook, and I did do a video on it, but this is like extending it because they've answered even more. And you could actually go on there now and probably ask them something, and I'm sure they'll answer. Some things I can't say, you know, due to certain reasons, but you know, it's worth a shot. So anyway, the first question that we have here is, will there be an in-game HUD or map? Now, we've seen a very small brief bit of gameplay and it did show a HUD, and then the game like the real gameplays were released and there was no HUD, and everyone was confused and were like, well, where is it? Do we have one? And Beenox has confirmed that they removed that due to marketing, so you could see in the trailers and things. You wouldn't want a HUD just popping up on the thing all the time. So the HUD is in the game. I'm not sure if you can get rid of it like the phone in Amazing Spider-Man 1. That would be great, but for now, yeah, there's a HUD in the game, so that's great. Okay, so the next question is about the web yo-yo system. Now, if you don't know what the web yo-yo is, basically it's an iconic pose that Spider-Man does when he hangs upside down, and it's really cool. And we did recently see, you know, we've seen him do that quite a lot in the trailers, definitely in the gameplay when he does that stealth attack when he's hanging on the tree. And so people were asking, you know, how do we do this? Can we do it? Is it automatic? And they said you can use this move using the L3, which is clicking the left analog stick down. It works on ceilings, lampposts, trees, pipes, and ramps only if there is enough space below. So there you have it. So it doesn't seem, I don't know if you've played Spider-Man 3, but they did have the web yo-yo in that game. So it doesn't seem that different from it, but a little more detailed. So yeah, I'm really happy to see it though, actually, because especially with like the PS4 share function, it's going to make you know, taking screenshots, it's going to give you a lot of options in how you want to take a nice screenshot showing off the city and showing off the costume you're wearing and things like that. Alright, so next up, people were asking, you know, about bugs in the game, like pop-in issues we saw and things like that. And Beenox have said that they have essentially fixed bugs such as these. We worked harder on the wall running animations, especially the transitions. So they've been working on how to basically, when the player jumps off a building or starts running up a wall, it makes it look more seamless, and it doesn't make it look like it's going from one animation to the other. It's trying to make it not so obvious and just make it look like free-flowing. Just Spider-Man looks like he's actually going to run up a building. So it's nice to see that, you know, they're putting the time and effort into little details like that, because, you know, you sometimes don't really see that with many companies in gaming now, but it's nice to see, you know, Beenox is still trying their best to make this, you know, I mean, this is a movie tie-in game, so it's nice to see that they're working this hard to, you know, make it a great game. Okay, so I may have mentioned this in the last video, so I apologize if I did, but basically the game has gone gold now, so there is no more active development. When I say gold, and when Beenox say gold, it means the game is finished. It's done. It's ready to be manufactured and packaged and sent to all the major retailers across the world. So yeah, the game's done, so we just have to play the waiting game now. They'll probably still release, you know, little bits of trailers like they've done today, and because I don't think this is the last trailer, definitely not. I think we're in for a few more things. I mean, mind you, it is, you know, we don't have to wait that long until the game comes out now, so yeah. So Beenox recently said that you could choose when you beat the game from various time of days, but they've had to say that that was incorrect. So basically, in the first game you could choose any time of day once you beat the game, and it was a great feature. But in this one it says you won't be able to choose from various time settings. It will be randomized when you exit Aunt May's house when the game is finished. So for example, day, night, dusk, etc. So my thoughts on that are, you know, you kind of have a day and night cycle, but it's like behind the scenes, you know, like you go into Aunt May's house in the day, you come back and it's like midday or something. So it's kind of like a random time cycle that you just don't know is going to happen. But it would have really been nice to have being able to choose time of day, because I prefer that more. But yeah, I mean, I can work with it. There's too many good advantages for me to not like this game anyway. I mean, there's so many little details in there that just I love, like especially being able to walk around Aunt May's house. I mean, that's just amazing. So yeah, that doesn't really bother me. It might bother some of you, but the easiest thing to do is basically choose your costume, go outside. If it's not the time of day you like, go back in Aunt May's, come back out, and then keep doing that. And I know that does sound a little annoying, but I'm sure we'll all get used to it eventually. Well, the next question, as you can see here, no, you won't be able to swing as Peter Parker. We already confirmed this months ago. So yeah, no swinging as Peter. It's a real shame because I was kind of hoping at the end of the game you get like a little message pop up saying thank you for playing our game. A new suit will be in your wardrobe, and it'd just be like Peter Parker or something. I think that would be really cool, but you know, it's not a big deal. And there's a lot of Peter Parker elements in the game anyway. I mean, we may not be able to walk around the entire streets, like all the city, but there are buildings we can explore and stuff, so that's always nice. I mean, yeah, I think they've done well. I mean, we're all going to be spending most of our time in the city swinging around anyway, but the Peter Parker elements they've added to the game are definitely going to, you know, give it more replay value, I think. Web Retreat has been removed from the Web Rush system as it made the game too easy. There will be a health bar this time and a heal functionality. Players will have to manage their health. So, Web Retreat has been removed from Web Rush. Personally, I don't really care about that because honestly I never even used it. I never ever used Web Retreat. I mean, Web Rush was pretty much Web Retreat anyway, and it gave you more like options on how you wanted to run away from the enemy. It was like you just pressed it and it just flew you into the opposite direction, and I never really used it. I was more like, okay, this guy's here and he's going to attack me here, so I'm going to jump over him and then web rush over here and then attack him. So I thought that was more fun anyway, so yeah, I'm not bothered about that at all. And the health bar this time and a heal functionality. I think they had the heal function in the first game, but it's nice to know how much health we've got now, though. You know, I mean, that's like, I think that was in Spider-Man 2 as well. So yeah, I mean, HUD is definitely a good idea, but it would be cool if we can take, you know, get rid of it like in the Amazing Spider-Man 1 with the Oz phone. Okay, so next up, Beenox went into a little more detail about the combo system. So, or combat system. So, there aren't specific combos to speak of. So, as in Shattered Dimensions, we are still using a free-flow combat system like the previous game. However, if you time your attacks well, you unlock critical strikes, and if you are good at dodging, you will unlock streaks. The combo meter is still shown on the screen in the final version, and like I said earlier, all HUDs are usually removed by marketing in trailers. So, I personally, I probably said this quite a few times now, but I absolutely love the combat system in the first game. I loved it. It was awesome. It felt like Arkham Spider-Man in a way. Like it wasn't, you know, exactly like Batman, but it did feel that type of combat system, and that's probably one of my favorite combat system features in any game. So yeah, the Batman and Spider-Man games, especially amazing. They have great combat system, and the new things they've introduced like dodges and rolls and different spider sense things and all that, I think it's going to make it even better than it already is. This answer is not really a disappointment, just a little of a shame, I guess, because basically there are no weather options. Only the time of day varies during missions and after the game is completed. That's a little confusing because in the gameplay we saw lightning, you see tiny drops of rain, you hear thunder. So I don't know, maybe it's in missions only, or maybe the certain time of day gives you that weather, so I can't be in the morning with rain or anything like that. So maybe there is still weather and they're just not saying what exactly it is, but I would definitely love to see weather. I mean, Spider-Man games kind of lack weather, and you know, swinging around when it's raining and stuff would definitely look really, really cool. So yeah, I mean, again, not really a big deal because we can just mix it up a bit, but it would definitely be a pretty cool feature in my opinion. So there may be a few more questions to do with this, but I tried to make a list of all of the great questions that made sense and are definitely interesting to read. So this guy asked about the web swinging, and Beenox replied with, "You can press or hold the web swing button to launch a web line. However, you need to hold the button to hold onto it." So I think, is that like Ultimate Spider-Man? I think that's how Ultimate Spider-Man works. You hold onto it like that and you move around and stuff. And actually, this game sounds quite similar to Ultimate Spider-Man in terms of mechanics, and I think Beenox did have a hand in working on that, so it would make sense that it's kind of similar. Because you can even climb the web in this one, which is pretty cool. So, yeah. What else they said? They also said, on the PC, the game is clearly more fun to play with a gamepad than with a keyboard/mouse. However, players will be able to customize their inputs with a launcher. So if you're a PC gamer and you want to play with the keyboard and mouse, you'll be able to customize how you want your controls to be, which is kind of cool. But honestly, I think you're probably best off, in my opinion, because I'm a PC gamer as well. But I enjoy playing games like Spider-Man and Batman more with a controller. It just feels more comfortable and feels right for the game. I mean, you know, other games definitely feel better with a mouse and keyboard, but sometimes not everything does. Next up, Beenox says that Spider-Man and Peter Parker will have buildings in the city that you can actually go inside. So yes, there are open world interiors, which I think they announced quite early in development, but like they didn't really explain it better. So yeah, there will be buildings and places which Peter can only go inside in free roam, but there will also be places that only Spider-Man can get to. They didn't really want to expand on this because they said we won't provide details since some of them could be considered spoilers, but there will be a comic stand this time. Now I'll get into the comic stand a little later because it sounds very cool. They didn't, you know, describe it like completely, but it gives you a rough idea of what it could be used for. Okay, so another question to do with the web swinging. You can hold onto your web, but it will be really hard to hold still and not that useful. The repel move will offer much more precise control. And again, like they're saying, you can hold onto the web, but you need to hold onto the trigger. And I'm confused if they mean, like, because in the first game, they had this weird, I don't even know if it was a glitch or just they didn't even look into it. Basically, if you play in the first game, you swing forward and you swing back and you just keep doing that. Spider-Man kind of loses control of his web and he just goes all over the place. It just looks really, really weird. But I was hoping that they wouldn't do it again, and I'm not really sure if they have or not. I mean, they're saying you can hold on to it, but it's not that useful. So I'm a little confused there. But, you know, when the game comes out, we'll be able to test it out for ourselves. And that'll be one of the first things I definitely test, to see if I could just sit on a web, because, you know, little things like that make a game for me, just being able to just sit on the web, because it gives you more control and freedom in how you want to play the game. Yet again, another thing to do with the web swinging mechanics, Beenox replied with, no, you can shoot a regular web line manually. We did experiment with that earlier on by allowing Spidey to make walkable tightropes anywhere and allow him to repel from there, but we kept the repel move instead, which was more meaningful. Again, you know, the web swinging in the first one was just trigger, whoosh, trigger, whoosh, and that was all it is. You know, it didn't really have much detail in it. But this one, especially in this new trailer, shows a lot of new tricks and things that he does in the air. So this definitely seems much more detailed than the first game swinging mechanics. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so in the first Amazing Spider-Man 1 video game, there were Easter eggs where it had like vultures' feathers on top of a building, a pit of sand which apparently a little girl fell in. I think they even had Mr. Negative like sort of references. So there was all these little references that pointed to like Vulture, Sandman, Mr. Negative, Black Cat again, which she was already in the game. But they all connected to that, and Beenox has said though that those were mostly Easter eggs and you won't see them in this game, which, you know, isn't really a disappointment, but it definitely would have been cool to see. Like, you know, we inspected and found out about the Vulture in the first game, and we're going to take him out in the second one. I think that would have been really nice, but, you know, oh well. What are you going to do? Okay, so Beenox were asked a question, and they couldn't really talk much about it, but instead they said that we did improve our roster of enemies by adding new archetypes, such as armored enemies, speedy enemies, and brutes, which we already knew all those. But the interesting thing is here is they also mentioned flying enemies, and I don't think we've seen any of them yet, so that's pretty cool. But I think flying enemies might just be drones and things, but, you know, it'd definitely be nice to see them surprise me with, like, goblin henchmen or something. That'd be pretty cool, but we'll just have to wait and see, I guess. Okay, last but not least, Sam Riegel, who voiced Spider-Man in the Amazing Spider-Man 1 video game, is back for the Amazing Spider-Man 2 video game, which personally I'm really happy about because I think Sam Riegel did a great job in the first game, and I think with all the things he learned, like what he did wrong in the first game, what he did right, he will have picked up a lot of experience for this game, and all in all become a better Spider-Man. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for lots more news on the Amazing Spider-Man 2 video game, and thank you for watching. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe.